Hello, everyone.
As per usual.
It's a good day today. Yes, it's a good day today, despite me being muted for half a second. But as you can see, today we have a special guest. We have Nikki with us. Yay!
Hi.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, as always, we're always happy to have guests with us. But for those who have joined us before, you always know that Nikki is always with us. She's just in the background, helping me with the settings and every nooks and crannies of the live streams. But today, she's actually our special guest for this session today. Today's session will be revolving around Nikki, but it's but it's more about the experiences that she have using OpenLearning. So before we start, let me just introduce myself. I'm Atikah. I'm a learning designer and trainer at OpenLearning Malaysia. And here we have Nikki, our amazing content creator. content creator. If you see a lot of our blogs, our marketing plans and everything, marketing newsletters and everything, it has come through Nikki to make sure that it looks good. It stays in our branding and everything. Yes, let's go to Nikki. But we're not going to talk about the branding and marketing of your courses or anything, but we're actually going to talk about course creation. So the reason why we have Nikki today here is that Nikki, even though she's she's part of our marketing team, she actually has designed a course herself, and it's not part of like a course design, course creation for our workshops or anything. Is that she designed this on her well, basically her own initiative, not from because of OpenLearning. Okay, so we wanted Nikki to share a bit about her experiences because these are her own experiences, and we'd like to know more about how she go through all the process and ongoing designs that she has been doing for the course that she has built. Okay, so I guess before we go into the questions and everything, maybe we'd have Nikki to kind of introduce a bit about the core, the whole thing itself.
Sure, yeah. Well, I see some people have joined us. So hi, Beverly, and hi, Chanju. Good to see you here. But yeah, just to introduce myself, I'm Nikki. I'm the editorial strategist at OpenLearning. And as Atikah mentioned, I do produce a lot of the blog posts that you see on blog.openlearning.com. But beyond that, I also produce a lot of the downloadables that you may have seen floating around that help you to plan your course. Yeah, so probably the most downloaded one would be the OpenLearning Handbook. So that's just a group of steps that show you how to create a course that you can sell on OpenLearning's marketplace. So today, I think I'm here because I'm going to be talking about the Wira Zero Waste Virtual Classroom. And it's just a project that I worked on voluntarily with a Malaysian nonprofit organization called Zero Waste Malaysia. So as you can see from the background, I am quite interested in this concept of reducing the waste that we produce in our lives. I know it's not like an individual problem to solve, but it is really good for helping us think about what we're leaving behind for future generations. And so back in about 2019, I actually joined a volunteer group that was formed within Zero Waste Malaysia to work on this project, bringing zero waste education to school students aged between 11 to 17. We had no idea what we were setting out to do. We just wanted to find a way to spread the word and maybe get into schools with students and teachers who, they're the next generation. So we wanted to make it as accessible as possible. But yeah, from those beginnings, it kind of grew over time, and I think we'll talk about this in the rest of the live stream, to become like a Telegram type of course, and then it grew to become several Google Slides that we would share with students, and then finally it became the 2 online courses that we'll be talking about today on OpenLearning. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and I'll hand it back to Atikah.
Yes, thank you. So I actually wanted to say how I just realized how the zero waste, you're giving zero waste education by giving online education, which means it's less paper there, so zero waste there. In terms of giving the education. Yeah. Thank you for a bit of an introduction about how you guys transitioned a bit, but I guess I wanted to know more on what first inspired the Zero Waste Malaysia to build the online courses. I mean, despite me saying, oh yeah, less paper there, what exactly inspired you to go to do online classes, and not just from OpenLearning? I mean, like, because you guys started with using Telegram, Google Drive, and everything, right, Chris? So yeah, maybe you can share a bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So it wasn't just me working on this in a vacuum. There were like 50 plus other people involved in this project. And like I mentioned earlier, it started in December-ish of 2019, or at least that's when I joined the group. And at that point, there was nothing on the cards for anything digital, not even like Telegram, WhatsApp. It was more coming up with lessons that were aligned to the KSSM, what's it called? Curriculum Standard Sekolah Menengah. Yeah, Curriculum Standard Sekolah Menengah. That teachers would want to use in classrooms because it would be aligned to the curriculum. They would help with classroom planning, and they would sort of fulfill the goals of Zero Waste Malaysia, which is to spread that education about sustainability and zero waste habits. So back then there wasn't really any inspiration for creating an online course, in my opinion. And it was only really when all the schools shut down in 2020 that we started talking seriously about, hey, maybe we need to do this as a remote thing. Maybe when we run our own programs, since we can't go into schools and we can't plan in training sessions, we should try and turn this into an online thing. So initially I had thought, because I do work with OpenLearning, I had thought, oh wow, what a great opportunity, let's build an online course. But I think, as is always the case with any new technology, it's kind of hard to immediately get everyone on board, and at the same time, you kind of need to put together a few resources before you can bring it to your team and say, hey, I think this will be a really good idea. And at the time, I think everyone was more familiar with Telegram and WhatsApp. And there were a few projects at the same time. I think, I can't remember the name of them, but they were teaching reading skills through WhatsApp. And so they would add a couple of students into the same WhatsApp group with a teacher, and the teacher would send voice notes back and forth. And I think at the same time, we also were hearing from quite a few like Malaysian educators on YouTube explaining how to put your lessons on WhatsApp because of the pandemic. So that's kind of where the first idea for turning the materials that we created into digital materials came from. And so we kind of went down that route of taking those lesson plans that we created and the slides that we created for them and turning them into smaller bite-sized lessons we could share through Telegram. And what was really cool is that that group of people that I told you about, the 50 plus people, they included people like voiceover artists, graphic designers, content creators. And so all of these people, just out of their own initiative, kind of came together to illustrate the whole thing and make it as interactive as possible, with voiceovers for each of the slides and activities which had this like superhero theme to them. Maybe I can share my screen and show you.
Definitely. I'd love to see.
Yeah, show you the slides that I've got. Okay.
So basically, you guys just have like a whole team, unplanned, but you guys basically have a whole team: graphic designers, voiceovers, content creators. That's just nice of how things work out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So like you can see here, this was the original slide deck that we were handing out to people in order to use in their classrooms, and this is what it was turned into in order to deliver it via Telegram. So what these slides did was they broke down the original slides that we had into mini bite-sized missions that could be completed every day. And so they were sent out every day via Telegram with the team of facilitators that we had hired. And from there, we kind of realized that, yes, it's great to deliver our lessons through Telegram, because the students are they're interacting very well with the course, and they were getting to know each other. But the problem that we had was that there was no easy way to keep track of which missions were being completed and where they were being completed. Some of the submissions were done via Telegram, some of the submissions were done via Padlet, some were done via Kahoot. We had Kahoot quizzes, so it was really tough to keep track of them. And at that point is when I suggested that maybe we could have a go at using OpenLearning. And so we kind of already had a cost structure that we had put together from, planning the lessons and then also creating these Telegram materials. And putting it onto OpenLearning was a pretty easy process from there.
Yeah, I guess basically you already have the contents, right? So it's just trying to find a platform where you can have a sustainable and easier for you to track the progress. Oh. So yeah, I guess that is understandable on how you came to the conclusion of trying to use OpenLearning. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you basically wanted to transition, you have the contents. What exactly did you do? Do you have like a sort of plan?
Yes.
To go with it?
Yeah. So we always try to start an online course with a plan, right? And we use this thing called a course design document, which I think you've mentioned many times in Tanya OL before. But this is the one for Wira Zero Waste. And basically what I did when I was putting the course together was I got this course design document and kind of took a look at all of the materials that we created in the past, because there were quite a few. I put some slides together to show what kind of materials we had and all of the things that we kind of had to sift through to create the course. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, wow. This is very detailed course plan.
Yeah.
I remember the days of being a teacher trainer and to do this.
Putting together a lesson plan, right?
Yeah.
And this is exactly what it looks like in a teacher's logbook in a Malaysian school, right? So that's what we were going for in the beginning when we didn't even think about online courses. So we had these 5 lesson plans that could be used in classrooms, and they were about 60 minutes each. They gave you what to do before the lesson, what to do during the lesson, after the lesson, what are the resources you can use. And these were the resources. We had the 5 slide decks. We also created some worksheets and activities using Google Forms, Google Docs, Padlet, and Kahoot. So there was kind of an online element to it, but it was more in order for teachers to be able to use it and download it from online or to access it from their classrooms. It wasn't really like a coordinated thing in the beginning. And then we also had a few videos. So the founder of Zero Waste Malaysia put together a video for each module that explained the main topics. And then we also, and this is something that you should think about when you're doing online stuff, is we also got permission from a few other content creators who had created videos that were already up on YouTube and were really useful for the topics that we were covering. So we reached out to them and we said, hey, is it okay if we incorporate your videos into our lesson materials? And so we got that permission from them. And then we also had the voiceovers that we had added to the slides. And we had our way of tracking the Telegram.
Oh, wow, this is very manual way of tracking.
Yes, it was very manual. There was a lot of content. But basically what I did was I went through all of that content and I put it into this format here, the Wira Zero Waste course design document, just to kind of wrap my own head around it and to make it easier when I was actually putting it into the platform, just to come back and say, okay, so I am going to have 1 module set on OpenLearning with 5 modules. So you can see this is module 1, and module 2, and so on and so forth. And then within each module, what were the pages? So here were the pages that I planned to include. I knew that I wanted to include the slides that we had created, but I also wanted to kind of convert the missions, the daily missions, into OpenLearning activities. So I just made notes for myself here with a link to the original activity. To figure out how to turn that into an OpenLearning activity. So if you're turning your existing content into an online course, and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to waste time making a course design document because I already have, a course structure. Well, I would say it's okay to do that, but it's pretty easy to lose track of where you are and what you're building. And then you find yourself halfway through the course and you don't remember what came before, you don't remember what's coming later. You may have changed things as you went through building the course. So I would say it doesn't need to be anything too detailed. Just a quick reminder of what your course structure is going to be. And so that's kind of all that I did to plan the course design. To plan the course structure. And then when I was putting it into the course, all I did was have a look at these notes that I'd made for myself, a few questions that I'd included, and then transferred them over. So yeah, that was the process. It wasn't very groundbreaking or amazing. It was just give yourself some kind of structure so that you don't forget where you are.
Exactly. I guess usually when I tell people, it might sound a bit hefty because it's coming from me as a course designer. I'll be like, okay, you have to do this because it gives you structure, but uh, but the main point I want people to know why you need to have a course planning in the first place is to basically keep track of your content, which one comes before, which one is the after, because when you are designing it page by page, you kind of lose track. Okay, what did I did? And then you have to go back and go back and forth. So in order to avoid all of that, you can just review your course design document. And like you said, it doesn't have to be like a detailed document. It can just be something that you understand, like how you put in just slides, Google Meet, check in or something. It's just notes because you know what it is. It's just you want to know what is in the content, what was the last page, or what in the next page. And also it helps you to structure, because sometimes even when you already have a structure, when you create a template document, when you design a course, it helps you to imagine the course, how it will look like. Because sometimes I have this happen to me, where I have all these plans, I've put it down and everything in my head, but then when I write it out on my template, I feel like it wasn't supposed to be like that. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense. The structure, it doesn't make sense. So I have to rearrange slightly, put it in different module, make it basically rearrange it slightly. And it didn't necessarily follow what my initial plan was. So that's the whole point of the design document. It wasn't even this is supposed to be like something heavy for you to do. It's just for you to keep track of, and you basically showed how to simplify this. That's why when during our workshop, basics workshop, I actually give them three different course design document for them to choose which one they feel like it's more suitable for them. So it's not so it's basically how you want to look at it on planning it. It doesn't have to follow our way, but it's nice to always plan ahead. But
Yeah.
you yeah, you basically have made it very simple, very easy to look in what the plan is.
Yeah, and actually on that point, with the ambassador program, maybe we can share the link to that for people to join, because it is a really good program if you're looking to become an open learning course designer. It takes you through creating your course, creating assessments for your course, and facilitating your course as well. I think Atikah is trying to put the link up on the screen.
Yes, I'm trying to find the link. But I just wanted to give a brief about the ambassador. So it sounds very highly, that you have to be skilled or have to have professional skills to be an ambassador. It's actually not. We actually try to make it as basics. All the basics information available for everyone to be an ambassador, because we know, because as much as we know that it's easy to create with OpenLearning, we want everybody else to know and be part of this journey as well. Okay. Not sure.
Okay, so I guess while you're looking for the ambassador program link, maybe I could just show how this course design document turned into the course that we created.
Yes, definitely. I would love to see how you plan the course.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the course. Here is where the learners will land before they join. When we first offered it, it was a private class because it was aimed at school children. And so in order to protect their personal information, we made private courses and then we sent them the joining link, which involved setting up a lot of other outside like email flows. But eventually they all managed to join the class. But after that initial cohort was done, there were some requests from external parties to offer the courses publicly, which is why we maintained our courses on OpenLearning and just created a new class and offered them publicly. So what you see here is the public course. It does mention that they were, are you ready to walk the path of a Wira zero waste? So you can see the like superhero theme here. It does mention that it's an action-packed training course for zero waste rookies aged 11 to 17 years old. So from the beginning, you know that it's for kids. But what's interesting is that we've gotten a lot of adults joining the course, which tells me that there are more people looking for this kind of localized, education about sustainability online, even on OpenLearning. So yeah, I would like to either upgrade this course or create another course that's more aimed at adults, but it's just, I guess, finding the time to do that is a bit tricky. So if I go into the course,
I would love to join, even if the course is aimed for kids. I think the activities will be like super fun to join in.
Yeah, they are pretty fun activities. You do get the same things with like people saying done, 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 but you do actually have students interacting in this course, and I'll show you that in a minute. But here's the homepage of the course, and it just kind of gives you how to use this course in a video and then like course information and stuff. But to have a look at the way the course is structured, we would click into this section here. And it brings up, okay, let me refresh. Oh. Just try to refresh. But you'll see that it looks pretty much like the course design document, just in an OpenLearning format.
I guess one thing I want to add to that is that everybody designs differently, and I always love to see how people designed. I mean, even within our team, we have Shaliza, we have Chandru, and Elena and Kim, who have different styles of building. So whenever I have to go into their course to look into the course that they're building, I'm always impressed, and sometimes I take note of what I can follow, I'm like it looks interesting that we can copy.
Well, the best artists steal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a combination of ideas, right? So yeah, it's everybody designs differently, and there's no I guess no wrong way, no true wrong way on designing. It's how you designed it, but it's as long as the learners get the best of they understand the flow, they enjoyed it, they have no confusion. It's all fine and dandy on how you build it. So
yeah, there's no wrong way to design. But yeah, just to show you what the course looks like inside. So remember, in the course design document, we had 5 modules, And here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 modules. And then each module had about 6 pages because we had those daily missions that we wanted the students to complete, the learners to complete. And so we broke them up into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on Sunday we had a check-in. And so if I click into one of these pages, I already kind of had an idea in my head of how the activity would look based on the materials that we had. And all I really did was came into the course and I had a Canva template. Canva is really good for creating online courses. I had a Canva template that I could use to create these header titles. And then I just filled in the rest of the content. It took me about a week and a half to convert everything that we had into this online course. I basically just embedded the Google Slides that we had for each day into the course. And they came with, okay, that's an example of the voiceover that was included on those slides. And then within those slides, we had these missions, right? Which say, okay, for example, mission 1.1, drop a comment to let us know what is waste from your perspective. At the same time, you can see what your friends are thinking. Yeah, so initially we had these missions being completed on Padlet. So we would send them a link to a Padlet, and then they would go into the Padlet and they'd type in their thoughts, which was great. It worked, but it was really hard to keep track, as I mentioned. So I just converted that activity into an open learning activity. So it's the same question, what is waste? In the space below, answer the question, what is waste? And then click next and post. It's always great to let your learners know how to use the platform that they're on, because otherwise you'll just end up with crickets. And so you can see here, if I sort by maybe most likes, this was just to get people to share their initial thoughts on what the definition of waste was. But then in the following few activities over the next few days, we would ask them again, what do you think waste is now that you've gone through some of the materials that we've provided? And the answers do tend to change. So that's one way of checking for understanding, is asking the same question later on in the course and maybe getting an idea of what the learners think beforehand. And yeah, I think, yeah, the other thing that that I did for this was I connected these learning outcomes to each page. And that's something that we try to keep in mind every time we plan a course, which is, does your course actually achieve the outcomes that you want it to? Yeah, probably should have mentioned this earlier.
You're speaking my language over there.
Yeah, right? So let's go to the outcomes of this course. So I think I mentioned, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say how I was so impressed that you managed to transfer all of this in a week and a half. That's super fast.
Oh, well, it was pretty easy because all of the materials that we had before that, they were already kind of in a course structure. So we had planned 5 modules, we had 5 slides for each module, we had split those up into like daily missions. So it's kind of like just reflecting the existing course as an open learning course to kind of free up that time that we were spending keeping track of stuff in Google Sheets and explaining how to use each of the different platforms that we had decided to use. So yeah, it was pretty quick for those reasons, I think. But yeah, so those 5 modules that we had, they had their own learning outcomes, and I just included them here in the course as define waste for the outcome tag, what is waste. describe the process of waste management for where does waste go, and so on and so forth. And each of these 5 learning outcomes, they were linked to the 5 modules that we had created. And the reason for having them in this kind of structure, where it starts with what is waste and then where does waste go, was because we were trying to narrow down the focus into from what's happening in the wider world, what is the definition of waste, into something more personal, and sort of asking the question, what can I do about it? Because I think that was the ultimate goal for this course, is what can we do about it? In Malaysia, there's, I think, 70%, I think that's the stat, of all of our waste is food waste. So that's something that we talk about in the course. And then we ask the question, okay, so what happens if you are having dinner with your parents and by the end of dinner, you realize there's a lot of food left over? What do you do? These are the sorts of questions that we ask in the course. So we try to relate it back to the learners in the course, rather than just bombarding them with information and stats like 70% of food waste. Of waste is food waste.
Yeah.
And so for each of these modules, yeah, they're young learners as well. But actually, for being young learners, a lot of them had very, very
advanced,
well thought out,
minds.
and like advanced answers that I was like, oh, I don't think I could have come up with that myself. So yeah, it was, I think when you're designing for younger learners, we can tend to like underestimate how much they can do. So yeah, it kind of just wanted to say, like, trust your learners to be able to complete the activities that you give them, and also give them the instructions to help them complete the activities. Because you can't just say, draw us a picture, but not give them the parameters for what that picture should be. So yeah, that's how the course design document was turned into this online course.
Okay. I was gonna say, since we're on the topic of young learners, I actually have like a question that I wanted to know. You mentioned about the giving instructions, and if not, there'll be crickets and all. So maybe you can share a bit on the settings you use for the course, and how the activities are designed to suit the young learners. I mean, how does it differs to planning for an adult learners?
I may not be the best person to answer that question, because I'm not like designing a lot of courses at the moment. But I think our main concern with designing this course for younger learners was their privacy and their safety. So I'm in the public course right now. If I were to click here, you can see there's like cohort 3. So that was the private course that we had for the learners. And we actually sent out permission slips to their parents beforehand to say, hey, is it okay that your child is joining this program? And just to get their consent for, maybe sharing some of the work that their their children had completed. But in terms of creating the activities, I would say it was kind of similar. Like I would have taken a similar approach if I was planning this for adults, just maybe with a different theme, because our approach with this online course and the previous like Telegram materials that we had kind of condensed, or not condensed, but turned into bite-sized pieces, was to make it as simple as possible for them to complete the activities every day, because we knew that these students, they had been forced to stay home from school, and then school reopened, and then school closed again. So we weren't sure, how much curricular activities they were doing and how many extracurricular activities they were having to do in their time at home or at school. So we knew that they were kind of busy, and we wanted to create something that they could access at any time. And so this was the answer, was breaking down those missions into smaller missions, making it easier for them just to submit their missions for the day. Yeah, activities for the day. And yeah, making it something that doesn't take up too much of their time. And I would do the same for adult learners, I think.
That's good to know. Do you have like, is this a reason why you're not using like Zoom or like Google Classroom instead? Because you're giving a flexibility to the learners to join the course and finish their work?
Yeah, so we actually did use Zoom. Well, we used Google Meets every week, but we made that optional because we were also thinking about the kids' ability to join these calls. I think you've experienced this when you do anything live via video. There is the risk that you will drop out of the call, or your connection may not be so good, or you may get other people joining your call that you didn't invite. So we kind of didn't we didn't use Zoom in that way. We didn't make the whole program Zoom based because of that. We didn't want people to feel left out because they couldn't access it. Whereas with OpenLearning, it was kind of a good way to make it low bandwidth, accessible to all, and yeah, public. So anyone could join, and yeah, we could track it really easily. Whereas I think with Zoom, it would have been a little bit difficult to do that. Although we did have optional weekly check-ins using Google Meets rather than Zoom.
I guess that is one way to keep track and keep everyone like in the same room together, which is I find that quite a few people also follow this as well, like institution especially, because they as much as we know classroom a course and the community is there. Sometimes having Google Meet or Zoom helps you to feel the presence there.
Yeah. So it was helpful for that, but we didn't make it the whole focus of the course, and we made it optional as well.
That's good.
I think we've got some questions.
Yes, we have questions from Beverly over here, which is which of OpenLearning's 5 pillars of social learning do you aim for including in your transformed course design? That's great.
All of them, I would like to say. Yeah, because having been with OpenLearning for a while and been working on all of this content that's about what social learning is and how to implement it in your course, I did feel that it was something I wanted to try doing in this OpenLearning course. So it was actually like a really good opportunity that Zero Waste Malaysia presented in turning their existing materials into an online course. So you'll see within the course, if you've joined either of them, that there's a lot of, even from the very beginning, when we were doing it via Telegram, that there's a lot of opportunity for students to share their own thoughts and create their own knowledge, but then also to come back and comment on each other's pieces of work. So, for example, we have an activity that's on drawing the life cycle analysis of a pisang goreng. So what happens to that's trying to localize it to Malaysian context. So what happens from the time the banana is plucked from the tree all the way to when it's fried and bought by someone, and then all the way to what happens to the banana skin, and trying to get students to think about what is the life cycle of this object that I see every day in my daily life, and then to think about what is the waste produced from that. And so we figured that the best way for them to visualize this was to draw it themselves. So we gave them some instructions. We said, okay, draw this life cycle analysis. Here are some examples of what other life cycle analyses look like. And there you go. So it was quite amazing because we saw that students were very quick to pick up on that concept of a circular economy, but also that they were very generous in sharing feedback with one another, saying things like, oh, that's a really nice drawing, or asking questions about the life cycle analysis that they'd drawn. And then also saying, oh, I've never thought about using the skins to wipe my hand as like moisturizer, because they were giving these suggestions for how that life cycle analysis could look more circular rather than a linear process where the banana skin gets thrown away. So yeah, I think in terms of the 5 pillars of social learning, co-creation, definitely in there. Crowdsourcing, definitely in that activity as well. Collaboration, not quite. I'm trying to think of one of the activities within the course that would have been more collaborative. Not really. Maybe that's a point of improvement for the upcoming courses. Self-expression, definitely with the drawing. And social presencing, pisang goreng, I think, maybe. I guess social presencing was more about situating yourself as the learner in the context of what you're learning, right? So kind of relating it to your daily life, relating it to your society and what's happening around you. So I did try to aim to include all of those principles in the online version the online course version of this these educational materials, but they were actually already in the initial lesson plans that we came up with together, because I think as people creating educational materials, we all kind of want our materials to be as effective as possible. And the way to make them as effective as possible is to make them relevant to the learner and to make them sort of co-created with other peers in their cohort. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
I think quite a lot of the social the pillars that you have that OpenLearning has are included in the courses that the course that you built, and by what you mentioned, like the learners giving feedback and everything, it looks like it's working. That they are learning with each other, learning through each other, and not just learning on their own, which is what we're trying to do here at OpenLearning. But it seems that it works for your course as well. I guess maybe we can also include Beverly's next question here to follow up with that. So the question is, and which of the OpenLearning submissions and display widgets, which is the post text, post image, post file, do you like to use to bring the social learning pillars to life in the courses you design?
Okay, so maybe I can add my screen back to the stream and show this life cycle analysis activity. When you edit a course on OpenLearning, you'll see that the first widgets that turn up are content widgets and posting widgets. So most of this course was built using these widgets, the content widgets and the posting widgets. There are other widgets that you can use, the quiz widgets, beta widgets, integration, and advanced widgets. But I did use some of these ones. I think I used the categorization quiz widget for one of the activities. I haven't used any of these beta widgets, but mainly the widgets that I used were these posting widgets, post text, post image, and post file. Because what's great about them is that and you'll see them right here, they come with their own gallery widget. And here's the gallery widget, which enables students to share their thoughts on work that their fellow students have completed, and also to like what their fellow students have done. And it kind of sends a notification to each of the learners if someone likes your work, and gets them to come back and work on the course some more, complete the rest of the course. So I really like to use the post widgets to create activities on OpenLearning, because those are the ones that get the students coming back to complete the rest of the course. And I think they also make for very effective learning experiences, because if I'm just sitting there like doing quizzes and categorizing things and matching things, I don't think I would learn as much as if I, say, drew a life cycle analysis on a piece of paper, took a picture of that, or maybe even drew it on my device if it has that capability, shared it with basically the world or my peers in the course, and then heard back from some of them on what I could have improved or what surprised them about what I had submitted. I think I would learn a lot more that way than if I was completing quizzes and things like that. So yeah, I think those would be the widgets that I would reach for most, are the posting widgets. But then also to provide all this sort of information beforehand, those are the content widgets that I would have reached for. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Okay. Yes. So sorry. I think all of the activities and has been helpful in tracking or looking at the learners submissions that you have. But what do on your own? Do you think that you have achieved the goal that you set it earlier? Like the reason why you're using OpenLearning is that you wanted to keep track of the learners. There's a single place for you to have these activities and everything. Do you think everything that you have wanted in the first place, is it available for you to do on OpenLearning?
I would say like 90% yes. I guess with any platform, there's going to be stuff that you can't really do. But in terms of wanting something that will track the work that the students are doing, wanting something that we don't have to constantly explain to the learners how to use each different platform, wanting something that actually lets you create a community around the topic that you're trying to teach. I would say OpenLearning hit all of those objectives. And I could actually show the assessment system that we set up. So we had, we're talking about tracking missions, right? So
Yes.
the way that the assessment system was set up for this course was we wanted the students to complete all the missions in each of the modules, and then we would be able to look through them and say, okay, you got 7 out of 7, like you did a really good job. And that way we could give them badges at the end of the course. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong tab. Okay, here we go. Mission tracker. All right. So we wanted people to complete the modules, and then for us to be able to go in and see at a glance what this learner did, and to say, okay, you did a great job. We'll give you 7 out of 7, and we'll give you a badge. So in terms of keeping track of learners' work and marking learners' work, I think that was definitely something that was much easier on OpenLearning. And as for giving badges, we actually had these very nice badges designed by, I believe, Ilham. She's a Malaysian illustrator. And they had already been being used on Telegram. But when we gave them out, they were just sort of like stickers that we sent to the students to say like, good job, you've completed module 1. But on OpenLearning, what was really cool was that each learner then got their own portfolio. And you could give them a badge and it would turn up in their portfolio. So here were the 5 badges that we had. And I designed this page so that if you clicked on it, you could see who had gotten which badge and who did you need to join by completing the module and getting that badge. And so it describes what you had to do to get that badge, and then also like who's got it already. And that would turn up in each of the learners' portfolios. And so I think in terms of like making it something that students could showcase their work as well, and not just something that we keep all of the materials and it belongs to the Zero Waste Malaysia education group that came up with the syllabus for, it's something that the students themselves can share with other people. I think OpenLearning also hit that objective. I don't think we thought it was an objective in the beginning, but having made the course on OpenLearning, I think it's made it a really good outcome for the learners.
I really love how you the course looks like. Everything looks super friendly. It doesn't intimidate you. Doesn't everything is like short, simple, and very colorful. But it's also, even though it's also colorful and cute and everything, it's not like I want to say like too much. It's very like minimalistic, still minimalistic. I really love how everything you planned in the course looks like.
Thanks. Be sure to let the team know. It's mostly illustrations done by Ilham, and yeah, really fun course themes to do with superheroes.
I guess it is a team effort in managing to create a course. But I would love to know what basically what can you share what it's like to build a course and have it on the OpenLearning platform as your own opinion. I guess even though it's a team effort, what is from your own point of view? How is it like building the course, having it on OpenLearning, having the learners do it in OpenLearning? What can you share to those who are building the courses on OpenLearning, who are starting or not sure what to do yet?
I'd say start with a course plan. That's number one. Plan how your learning outcomes will relate to the content that you're putting in the course. And if you're using OpenLearning, it might help to make the help pages your best friend. So we have help pages at help.openlearning.com, and they explain how to do everything on the platform. So if you ever feel stuck or you want to find out whether you can do something on the platform the way that you want to, the help pages are a really good place to go first. Ask the question, like maybe you wanted to ask, how do I use the share widget to create this activity? Then you could ask that on the help forum. But other than that, you can, if you don't find that answered your question, there's always the in-app chat that you can use to reach the customer success team. So I actually did chat with Alenka several times. I'm sorry, Alenka. I pretended that I was, zero waste, but it was me, Nikki. I was saying, hello, I don't know how to do this. Please help me. So even though I have been building courses on OpenLearning for a while, there were still a few things I didn't know how to do. And it was really easy to be able to just click that little blue button and say, hello, can you please tell me why the settings are not working the way I think they should? And then, yeah, it made the process a lot smoother. And that means that it was possible for me to build the course in a week and a half because of the help from the customer success team.
Yes, I agree with you. The customer success team are godsend. They're super fast in answering questions and queries that we have, but also like you mentioned, the help page as well. I usually, before I go to the customer success team, I always search on the help page first, because the help page actually gives like step-by-step guide. I constantly go there. Even though I've been on OpenLearning creating courses multiple times, I still constantly go to the help page because it is very easy to follow through with the instructions and guides.
Yeah, and sometimes you forget, right? How it works.
Exactly. Exactly. And I also agree how you mentioned, like, start with the course design. A lot of us tend to forget that the base is from the creating the structure. And from there, when you have the structure ready, you could actually transfer all your contents in much faster time, like less than a week, if everything is ready and all your plans, contents are all ready to go. Like, just copy paste, drag and drop. Sometimes if I already have all those things, I definitely do that in less than a week. But if there's much more planning, stretch out the time. But yeah, I just want to agree with you on how it's actually pretty easy. But don't just take it from me, take it from Nikki, who actually tried this.
Yeah. And sorry, one more thing was just to mention, what was really great about building on OpenLearning is that there's the marketplace at the end of everything. So if you submit your course for a course review and it gets approved by our team, then it will be listed on the OpenLearning marketplace. And that means that more people can discover your course. And it's really cool because we haven't really done like very aggressive marketing for this course. It's listed on the Zero Waste Malaysia website, and it may be on a few social media posts. But I think mostly the traffic just comes from people coming from that website and people coming from OpenLearning Marketplace. And we do get an average of 3-ish learners joining per week. And I think currently we're up to 300 plus learners in the courses in Bahasa Malaysia and English. And people are actually completing the activities. So they're interacting with each other. They're going through the course. You do get the people who say done, done, done and then get the certificate at the end. But you do also get people who are interacting with one another. So I would say that's another pro to using OpenLearning, is that once you've built the course and you've built it with all of these principles in mind, and it's connected to the learning outcomes and it's got these social learning activities in it, just submit it for like a course review and see if you get listed on the course marketplace, because it does get you more learners joining your course, and it does give you more avenues to reach out to learners who you may not have reached before. So yeah, I'd say that's another pro of OpenLearning.
Yeah, the courses that are available on Marketplace are all reviewed by our team, and even though if well, basically it's reviewed first, and then if it like check all the checklists, you get all the criteria in, it will be automatically go into our marketplace. But if it's not, don't worry, because our team actually gives you points on how to improve your course. So I definitely vouch to submit your course into the marketplace as well, because it is something rewarding to see more people coming into your course and just learning and getting to know all this information, especially if the courses are free. So yeah. I guess we are a bit after 4 already. So maybe a few last words from you, Nikki.
Sure. So if you would like to join these 2 courses that we have on OpenLearning, I will include the links in the comment section, and also in the follow-up materials that we have for this, if you're watching from the Facebook group. Join in, have a look. I know it's made for 11 to 17-year-olds, but it does have a few adults in it as well. So if you're interested to learn more about being a little bit more sustainable, or learning actually about waste management in Malaysia, that's what the course is mainly about, then yeah, join us in the course, and I'd love to see you there.
All right. Thank you so much, Nikki, for sharing your experience. It's always nice to know that there's a lot of ways on building a course, and I actually am inspired on how you built the badge page, because usually when we give badges, we don't really notify others who like showcase who already got the badges and everything, and they might not know what badges are available. So having the badge page showcase the badge that are available for them to grab, it's I guess it's a way to gamify and for them to like, okay, I'm gonna get this badge. So yeah, I'm a bit motivated on following that once I build the course on my own. But yes, and also thank you so much for sharing your experience, sharing how you built your course with the team, and so thank you for Zero Waste Malaysia for letting us share with others for this session. I guess overall, from me, I just wanted to say, for those who are building courses, who are still new, it's don't get scared or intimidated with the platform. It is actually very easy to use. If you get the hang of it, it's actually very fast. But it's also a learning curve. And the thing about the course being online is that you can always keep updating it from time to time. You don't have to, once you set it live, it's not set in stone. You can still update it, so don't worry. even if there's like typos or anything, you can still change it. It's not like a book. You can always change it and update it.
Agreed.
I guess with that, it's we're gonna close our session for today. And for those who are still with us, thank you for joining. And also, we hope this session is helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us anytime in the comment section on Facebook, or email us or our support team. So with that, I guess I'm going to say goodbye, everyone, and see you in the next session.
Too. Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, Atikah.
Thank
Bye.
you.